everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. This week, like a great many number of other people, I went to see Avatar: Fire and Ash, the third movie in James Cameron's Avatar series. Thankfully, we didn't have to wait, 10, 12 years for the next one. Although, maybe we should have? I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. I love these movies, visually stunning. And once again, this one, visually stunning. I saw it in IMAX 3D, so it was gorgeous, amazing. Although I still do not like the high frame rate that makes it look like it was shot on video. I know that he says that it helps the brain process the 3D better, and you'll get you won't get eye strain because it's in high frame rate. The 3D is easier for your eyes to process. My eyes have no problem processing any 3D. It's fine. Let's stick with the film, because every time it's film, it looks lovely and it has texture and it feels more real than the video stuff, the high frame rate stuff. But that's just me. Also, I feel like if he just did the whole thing in high frame rate, then I would just get used to it. Like that Will Smith 3D movie that I forget the name of, that was all high frame rate, and I was like, ooh, this is hideous. It looks like it's shot on video. I don't like this. But by the halfway point of the movie, you get used to it and you're not thinking about it. But Cameron keeps switching back and forth between high frame rate and film frame rate. So it keeps switching back and forth, so it's like it looks lovely in filmic, and then it looks like video for a shot. And then it looks lovely in film, and then video again. And it's just like, this one, again, it's over 3 hours long, and initially, AMC was like, okay, when I bought my ticket, like 2 months ago, whatever, when they went on sale, I bought my ticket and they were like, alert, this movie is long, so it will start at the showtime. There will not be 20 to 30 minutes of trailers ahead of time, so get to the theater on time. And I'm like, ugh. And I got to the theater on time, sitting there, the ads are still playing, whatever, the commercials and Nuvi and whatever. There's like no one else around. I was like, they're all gonna come in the middle of this movie and it's gonna be so annoying trying to watch a movie with people crossing in front of me. However, AMC lied. There was 20 to 30 minutes of trailers. In fact, the trailers didn't even start until 5 minutes after the showtime. So that was irritating. Also, they did not have the air conditioning on. I know it's winter, but like we're all sitting there. I'm so glad I wore a short sleeve shirt because I was sweating in a short sleeve shirt. It was so stuffy and warm and horrible. And I guess they really wanted us to feel the fire and ash. I don't know. But anyway, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the movie? I enjoyed it. It's the least of the three, unfortunately. Because it picks up right where the second one left off. And then they decide that they need to take Spider to the human camp, so everyone leaves the water people to go with these floating sky merchants to take him to the human camp. But then they are set upon by the Ash people, who are led by Varang, who is such an amazing villain. Una Chaplin steals every scene she's in. She has this super cunty walk, and she's just and she does not take shit from anybody, and she's awesome. She is an awesome villain. So when she teams up with Quaritch, it's wonderful. The problem is that instead of this being the plot of this movie, is exploring this new culture and everything, because the first two movies were humans are shitty, Na'vi are good. But this one is there's actually a bunch of Na'vi who are also shitty. Because their community was destroyed, and now they don't worship Ewa, and they're just evil, shitty villain Na'vi. Which is great, because that means the place isn't a paradise and there's villains there too, which is, more realistic, I guess. The problem is that it starts to lose focus, and there are just so many plot threads going on, and we're moving between so many different plot threads that it starts to feel like I feel like he said that he had 5 movies in mind, and I feel like movies 3, 4, and 5 were just condensed into movie 3. That was the feeling I got. A lot of stuff is going on. And it's we're over here, then we're over here, then this is happening, and that's happening, and we're back with the water people, and then we're with the fire people, and then it's the human people, and it's just, there's a lot of moving parts. of course, being James Cameron, he keeps everything moving swiftly and wonderfully, and there's great action, and it never slows down for a second. But it does feel long, finally, because there's a lot going on, and it's like unfocused and whatever. It does all come together in the end, and it is a nice ending, but it is a little sloppy getting to that point. So I don't know if he condensed everything so he could end it with this, because this does have an ending that would work as an ending to the series if he wanted to just go on and make other movies, not Avatar movies. But who knows, maybe in 10 years we'll get Avatar 4. I don't know. We'll see. But if you're going to see it, make sure you see it in 3D, because it's the way it's meant to be seen, and it's amazing. And, maybe we'll get more, maybe we won't. He said he's working on a Terminator movie. We'll see about that. Who knows? As for games, I did not play as many games. There was not as much gaming this past week because as you remember from last episode, I was complaining about the controller drift on my PS5 joystick, and it just keeps wanting to move forward, which I'm assuming is because 95% of the games I play are 99% maybe are like action adventure games where I'm constantly pressing forward on the joystick to move through the world. So it just wants to keep going forward even when I'm not pressing it now. It's gotten worse. Like over the past week, it got worse. Like to the point where navigating menus is just almost impossible. It gets so frustrating. So like I'll play for a little while and then I have to stop because like just navigating and trying to control things it just gets too frustrating and I have to turn it off. And I'm just really hoping Santa's bringing me a controller for Christmas, because otherwise I'm gonna have to go get one on the 26th when everything opens up again. And that's gonna suck because I don't want to go when everyone's trying to return shit and buy stuff, and it's gonna be annoying. But like Disney and Nikki are fine because they're more casual games, so the controls don't need to be as perfect, like when you're moving around and stuff. But that's where the menus become a problem, because like I tried to do a boutique challenge for the Star Path, and it was like, okay, it should be this, that, the other thing, and Winnie the Pooh, and green, or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I need something Winnie the Pooh. And trying to navigate that menu to select Winnie the Pooh, it was like, sometimes I can use the D-pad, but then sometimes the joystick overrides that and just keeps trying to scroll up. And I'm like, scroll down. And it was really frustrating. Also, like with dialogue, when I'm trying to give somebody a present or say, hey, Mickey, I need to hang out with you for a Star Path. It's like trying to get it to land on that and not keep scrolling up to the top. It's like, it's really frustrating. So I can only last a certain amount of time. Although I did have a conversation with Cinderella, and that apparently gave me the trophy for having conversations, a certain number of conversations, which was apparently the last trophy I needed to get in Disney Dreamlight Valley, and then I got the platinum. So I guess that's like the, second or third. I know I platinum No Man's Sky, but I don't tend to platinum games because it's too hard, because most of the trophies are like multiplayer or some thing I can't do because I'm not skilled enough. So yay me, I platinumed Disney Dreamlight Valley. I feel like it should have happened a while ago, but I guess I'm not chatty enough with the other Disney characters. I don't know. And then with Nikki, it's the same thing. Navigating menus and dialogue choices gets really frustrating. Moving around the world is fine, but the menus get really annoying. Although there was a section where there's this section, you go to the Colosseum and you explore the Colosseum, and there's this behemoth that chases you through the Colosseum, and you use it to open up new pathways where you get to the top of the Colosseum eventually, and then you have a boss fight. But in the beginning, like I started it and then I had to stop and like go make dinner or whatever. And then I came back the next day and I went to, it's hard to explore because the thing is chasing you. So I'm like running away from the thing, and I found myself back at the beginning, and I'm like, oh, so I'm like, okay, let me start over. And because it was the next day, I forgot where I was and I didn't remember where everything was and which way to go. So then I go again, and then I must have like died again. And then it was like, because I got this pop-up that was like, this section might be a little difficult for you. If you'd like, you can skip this section and you can get a cutscene, and then you'll, come back and explore it later if you like. And that's lovely. I appreciate that kind of accessibility for people like children who are probably better at the game than I am, but who, if someone's struggling, I appreciate that they gave them the option to skip something that might be a little difficult. But I did not want to do that. So I wanted to make sure that I hit the right button because I didn't want to accidentally skip it, and the controls in Nikki are a little weird sometimes, so I wanted to make sure I was hitting the right button. So thankfully I did, and I was able to finish it, and I did the boss fight no problem, and everything was fine. The rest of the way through, I did not die once. So there you go, Nikki, whatever. But thank you for the option. The real problem is with Star Wars Outlaws, because you're trying to sneak around, but Kate keeps trying to move forward, and, you know, it's annoying. Because, like, there was one point where she was on the comms with Waka, and I'm like, so I stopped, and I waited, and I didn't do the next bit, because I was waiting for her to finish a conversation before I started doing some more movement, jumping around and climbing things, and she just started strolling forward, and I didn't realize, and she strolled right off a cliff. And I was like, God damn it. So, like, it's frustrating, because she just keeps moving on her own, and when you're trying to sneak around, that's really, really difficult. But that was a really great section of the game, though. There's this wrecked spaceship that's like half in the ground, and it's like ancient, and you have to explore it, and it's all this like platforming and puzzle solving and exploring. And honestly, I would love a Star Wars game that was like just going to different planets and exploring wrecks like this and solving puzzles and exploring them and finding secrets and all sorts of stuff. Like, that was really fun. But then I get to the end, and, you know, you get to the bridge where you're going to get the nav computer that you're going to use on your own ship. So you go to steal the nav computer, and as I'm looking around for other miscellaneous crap to steal, to sell, I see a lot of explosive and gas barrels, and I'm like, why are there explosive barrels? There's no one here to fight. And I'm like, oh my god, as soon as I take this nav computer, I'm going to get ambushed and I'm going to have to fight people. And sure enough, that's what happened. So that was kind of annoying, because I was really enjoying just being by myself, exploring this wreck and solving puzzles and climbing and platforming. And alas, you had to have a shootout later. And then there was like a twist, which was unusual, and I was a little annoyed because I kind of liked Waka, but oh well. And then you meet this guy, this very handsome scoundrel, Jalen Vrax, and his bodyguard droid, and he says, okay, I need you to break into the guy from the beginning, but because you broke in before, now his security is heightened, so you're going to need a whole team to get in there and steal his fortune, and you need to go to all these different planets and collect all these different people and make a squad, make a team. So this is apparently the plot of the game. As you might recall, last episode I was complaining about how the plot wasn't great. It was kind of non-existent. This is apparently the plot. All of a sudden, like 13 hours into the game, here's your plot. You're meant to go travel the galaxy and assemble a crew so that you can go back to the house from the beginning of the game and go break into that mansion again and steal his fortune. And presumably kill him in the process. I'm hoping. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's still not, a great motivator where I'm excited to do it, but it's at least a structure. So I appreciate that. But again, I have not played it in days because it gets very frustrating trying to sneak around when the controller keeps trying to move on its own. So, alas. So we will see. So come back next episode where I will show off everything I got for Christmas, and hopefully one of those presents is a new PS5 controller so I can get back into my gaming full-time properly. Find out then. Bye!